Hey, it's Mazzy here, and here's a Kate Bush album ranking video. Now, let me tell you a little bit about where I'm coming from, and I'm going to rank these videos from 10 to 1. 10 albums that I've included here. There are some comps and a few other little tidbits that I'm going to show first, but not included in my ranking, including a wonderful CD box set. But let's go back to March 1978. It was my very first trip to England, and I arrived in March to Heathrow Airport. A friend who I had known picked me up at the airport to bring me into central London. And soon after we got in the car, he turned on the radio, and the first song I heard out of the radio, not sure what station it was, but was this, Wuthering Heights. I was gobsmacked, as they say in the UK. It was amazing. I was puzzled. I listened to it. I asked my friend, what is this? And he told me it's Kate Bush, and I had never heard of Kate Bush. I'd never heard this song, but her high pitched voice, I knew she was talking about Wuthering Heights and that repetitive chorus in the end. Heathcliff, it's me, I'm Kathy, come home again, on and on and on, and just the guitar bit at the end. I fell in love, literally. The next day, I slept at his house. The next day, I took the tube into London, and I think I went to near Oxford Street. I think it was to HMV, and I bought this 45. This is the 45 I got in 1978 in the United Kingdom of Wuthering Heights, back with Kite, and I went back and I played this on my friend's stereo like constantly. And I kept hearing it while I was in London, and I kind of toured the continent for about 3 months. This was an after college experience, and kept hearing Kate Bush, and she almost topped the charts on albums, but I think she topped the charts with the single Wuthering Heights. But a couple things let me show here. First, this CD box. This is a beautiful package. I think this is way out of print, so it goes for a lot of money now. And during the CD heyday, this came out. Kate Bush, This Woman's Work, 1978 to 1990. And what's nice about this, it not only included this wonderful booklet, these artwork, more artwork, her iconic imagery, logo, This Woman's Work, beautiful package, and these great CDs. Of course, it goes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her first 6 CDs plus 2 CDs called Women's Work, This Woman's Work. And what it has is singles, B-sides. One of the reasons I really wanted this, because I did have the soundtrack when it came out of She's Having a Baby, the John Hughes film, and the song This Woman's Work is on there. And it's a beautiful, intimate image. One of those I put on a mixtape when my son was born, of course, during the birthing on that. Sounds like a cliche in 1990, but that was the perfect time. And it's such a gorgeous track. Also, this has the 12-inch remixes, a lot from the Hounds of Love, like Cloud Busting and Running Up That Hill. And they're just really, really wonderful. And an experiment for that were B-sides to 12-inch singles that I gotten at the time. But I just love this box. And first, I want to show this comp. This is Kate Bush, the whole story, and this goes through 1990, I believe. And this has 12 tracks, all of her hits like Babushka, The Dreaming. It has Experiment 4, which was, again, as I said, not on an album. Running Up That Hill, Hounds of Love, The Man with the Child in His Eyes, Cloud Busting. It opens up with that great song, Wuthering Heights, with a new vocal added. I think I like the original vocal better. That high, just dramatic voice. As it goes on, her voice kind of gets a little lower and more refined in a little way. But I like both sides of Kate Bush. But as you see by the rankings, you'll see kind of how that plays from my point of view, from my personal taste. But this is a lovely, lovely collection. And I think this is fairly easy to find in the used bins. I think this was reissued. I don't remember all the details. But that's from the Cloud busting video with Donald Sutherland in it that was pretty much all over MTV. Now, the thing about Kate Bush, she's never been like this huge star and seller in the United States. In a way, she's above cult status, but much bigger in the UK, but amongst my favorites. So the other one I'm not going to show or include in my overview is Kate Bush's director's cut. I quite like this record. Some of the critics were cool on it. But what's interesting about this, she took a lot of songs from earlier albums and did a whole remix, some new overdubs, and basically it's exactly what it says in the title, a director's cut. Songs like Flower the Mountain, original titled Sensual World. That's because of the authorship of that, I'm blanking on this estate of the poet. She wasn't able to use the original lyrics at the time. Song of Solomon, Deeper Understanding, The Red Shoes. This woman's work is on here again. Rubber Band Man, one of her earlier hits. And she does a whole different take on those songs. It's great if you're a completist. I quite like this record. I like the mood of the record. Was it necessary? Hey, it's an artist statement. Good for her. This was, by the way, a big change because this is the first on her own label. This is Fish People Records. That's her own custom label. But what's great about it, this extensive book that has beautiful, beautiful artwork that sort of illustrates every single song. Photographic, iconic images. And it's kind of a little fun take on these, and they're very interesting. The Shoemaker, The Red Shoes. So Kate Bush, director's cut, not included in my ranking. And several years ago, in 2018, they put out a series of reissues and box sets. You can buy them individually, some of them, and they're box sets. I didn't get all the box sets because I have all the albums. I got several of the reissues, but this is the only box set, vinyl 4. I believe there were 4 box sets and they contained the various years. But what I wanted to get this is because I no longer had the 12-inch remixes, and this contains 12-inch remixes of Running Up the Hill, Big Sky, Cloud Busting, The Hounds of Love, and Experiment 4, which I had around the time of Hounds of Love. And it's kind of a parts and pieces alternative collection. Really, really fun. It's got a version of the song Brazil. It's got her version of Candle in the Wind that Elton John obviously remade for Princess Diana. And several collaborations with other artists include her version of kind of a reggae version of Rocket Man, the Elton John song, which was, I think that was on a Elton John tribute album. But this is a beautiful collection. Again, I love this picture. What a beautiful woman, beautiful, iconic face. So these are the 12-inch additional tracks. And that's it. So let's dive right into Mazzy's ranking video of Kate Bush's album, starting with number 10, working up to number 1. Lionheart. This is at number 10. This is her second album. I do like this. I like all these records. It's a good album. I think there's some more misses than not. Probably more misses than any other album of a Kate Bush album. So it comes in at number 10, Lionheart. Coming at number 9. Now, to a lot of people, this would be the number 1 album in the UK, possibly one of the big albums, because I believe this album was the first to go to number 1, and this is Never Forever. Kate Bush had 3 big singles, including a huge hit called Babushka, obviously the Russian name for grandmother. Lovely, lovely record, and a real danceable record to some extent. And this came out in 1980, or is it 81, 81 or so. So this is number 9 in my ranking video, Never Forever by Kate Bush. Coming at number 8, The Red Shoes. This came out, I didn't quite get it, but I've grown fonder of it over the years. I think it's really an interesting record. Obviously, it's based on the Powell cinematic, film, the British film, The Red Shoes. which is an amazing British film if you ever get a chance to see it. What's great about Kate's work is, especially after the third or fourth album, her work is very majestic, very cinematic, but very really interesting. It's almost got a little bit of a progness to it and pop sensibilities and a lot of parts and pieces. Although one could argue, and not even argue, that Wuthering Heights is really based on an amazing book and a great movie with Laurence Olivier, Wuthering Heights. This has a great song, Rubber Band Girl, which I really like. Eat the Music, Moments of Pleasure, The Red Shoes, and on and on and on. But this is number 8 on my top list. Good album, not in my top tier, but very good album. Coming in at number 7 is 50 Words for Snow. I know some people that don't care for this record. This is essentially a Christmas record. It's a winter record, a snow record, and it's probably the most ethereal overall than all her records. Beautiful, somewhat ambient with great vocals and great arrangements. There's actually a really nice duet with Elton John, whose voice is very deep now. But a lovely, lovely record. Again, since she's been doing her own label, she's been doing these really wonderful art books within each album that sort of illustrate each song on the album. So, coming in number 7, 50 Words for Snow by the great Kate Bush. Coming in at number 6. I wasn't sure if I should include it, but I think it's a magnificent set. It's like a Broadway play, and it's her soundtrack, in essence, to Before the Dawn. This is a project. This came out in 2016, I believe. I think it was 2014 or 2015. She did a month-long series of shows in England that I was dying to go to. I tried to get tickets, and I was really prepared to head to London to get it. It was definitely like a theater piece, like a Broadway theater, like a West End production, where she played in the same theater night after night after night. The reviews I read were amazing. It has never come out on video, although they did photograph it in high definition. And it's thematic. Her son Bertie is in it. Other actors and performers. Gorgeous, gorgeous sets, what I've seen, clips of it. And this goes through pretty much this has the entire performance on 4 LPs. And it ends with songs from the Hounds of Love, the side 2, including some of the hits, Running Up That Hill. It's just a beautiful tour de force and a beautiful performance. And Kate Bush did one tour of the UK early on. I think it was around the time of her second album, as I recall. I could be wrong on that. And that was it. She's not a performer. She's not a live performer. You can find her dance performances and videos. She studied dance, and her movements seem somewhat awkward, but she actually studied movement. But they're a little bit, excuse the word, spastic in a way. But I still love it, and I love this record. And I love the book that came with it, and the whole performance. It is such an amazing, dramatic, theatrical piece, like going to the opera with the sets. Look at that photograph. Beautiful, beautiful music, beautiful record, beautiful project. So coming in at number 6, Before the Dawn. Coming in at number 5, The Sensual World. This is a lovely record. This, in America at least, was her switch from Capitol Records to Columbia. I don't know what label, if you're still with EMI, I assume in the UK, but her contract changed in the United States. The Sensual World is, again, a beautiful song that she changed for the director's cut. But I really like this record. This woman's work is on here. Again, a version of that, as I said earlier, was in She's Having a Baby, but this is a gorgeous record. Probably my favorite cover photograph, cover artwork, lyrics inside, produced by Kate. You know, she was really getting on her own production early on from The Dreaming, I think it was, really just doing her own production. She built a studio in her home, her castle on the moors maybe, and started producing. So love this record, coming at number 5, The Sensual World by Kate Bush. That title song is just a lovely, lovely song. Coming at number 4. Now, I probably almost would have included this lower, but I'm putting it higher because it really means a lot to me. And this is the first album, The Kick Inside. As a whole album, is it as good as Sensual World? I'm not quite sure, but this album was so important to me, for my list, for my history of Kate Bush. Also, when I was in the UK, I bought, this is the cover that came out in the UK. This is the cover that came out in the United States. I think the UK cover is far better than the American cover, but I had gotten later an American promo of it when I got back from the United Kingdom. Obviously, Wuthering Heights is on here, and Moving, Strange Phenomena. Good song. It doesn't have the consistency of the later albums, but this is sort of a personal favorite because it means a lot to me because of the memories of the time. So that's why I'm including it at number 4 on this list. You know, my choice, my list. There you go. Coming in at number 3, a record that I couldn't get on vinyl for well over a decade, maybe 15 years. I did get the CD when it came out, but the vinyl was so rare and costly, and finally during this reissue program 7 years ago, it came out. This is Ariel. Double album, beautiful album. I think this is a grower. I think in a way this is one of her masterpieces, but it's maybe not as initially defined as The Dreaming or the Hounds of Love, but it's just a great album. There's a song on here that I just love called How to Be Invisible that's got this great, almost it sounds like a Stratocaster guitar kind of bit that goes on, and it's just really lovely. And I like the feel of this record, and I like the sound on this record. And again, this is the reissue from her Fish People label, again with another lovely illustrated book of artwork representing each and every song in the album, on the album. There are bird sounds, and you can see that she was working in her studio a lot at home, and you really feel the natural elements of nature in a way. I mean, as simple as that sounds, I don't know how else to say it, but this is quite a lovely record. And what's on here, there are great backing vocals by Lol Creme of Godley and Creme 10cc, of Gary Brooker from Procol Harum, Patty Bush, her brother, and others. And it's really a special record. Coming in number 3, Kate Bush's album Ariel on Fish People Records. Okay, now number 1 and 2. This was a toss-up. These could have been tied, and I go back and forth on these two albums. The one I show first probably is the one record that everyone should get. Aside from the comps, aside from the greatest hits, I would probably suggest this album for everyone first, and this is the Hounds of Love. For me, this is number 2. It could have been a 1 and 2 tie. Yeah, of course, now, those of you who know Kate, her work, you're going to know what my number 1 record is. Fantastic record. This is one of the few charting singles on here, Running Up That Hill, that was all over America. But MTV did play Running Up That Hill videos, Cloud Busting. Beautiful, beautiful record. Now, side 2 has this suite called The Ninth Wave, and that's one of the suites that was presented at the second half of that live Kate Bush performance in the United Kingdom. One of the most beautiful series of songs. This goes together like a Pink Floyd album, like a prog record, but more beautiful. Melodic, amazing vocals, amazing arrangements. She really broke new ground on this album. The one after that, that's number one, that was sort of the beginning that led to this. This is probably more controlled, and I don't mean in terms of cutting back her artistic abilities or expression, but there's more songs that could be hits. Obviously, Running Up That Hill with that great rhythmic opening is such incredible. A 12-inch single version, extended version of that is really lovely. And on Cloud Busting, that great kind of orchestral organ bit in that is just great. And the 12-inch that as well just really goes on some amazing percussive sounds on the 12-inch from the 12-inch box and CD series. The Big Sky, that also was their video, and it was a hit. Again, this album was much bigger in the United Kingdom, but it did pretty well here, and she finally got sort of the artistic respect. This is an artistic triumph. This isn't just a big record that happened to, you know, spark the interest of an audience and sell. This is a real artistic statement, and I love this record. Hounds of Love coming at number 2 by Kate Bush. And I want to show this before I go on to number 1. This is a special edition of Hounds of Love. This came out in 2010, really just as or prior to the big explosion of vinyl. And this is a great version of this record that came out. And this was mastered by Steve Hoffman and Kevin Gray. And it's just stunning. It's probably the best version of this you can get. This is on Audio Fidelity, which was a audiophile label. Those of you who know the Hoffman Forum, Steve Hoffman, everyone knows now who is into audiophile music, Kevin Gray. This came out on a lovely purple-ish vinyl, and it's so beautiful. It sounds beautiful. Great record, one of my favorite records, obviously number 2 here. So let's go to number 1. Number 1 album by Kate Bush from Mazzi's Kate Bush top 10 ranked albums is The Dreaming. This really, for me, changed everything. I didn't get this right away. For some reason, I didn't get it till almost a year after it came out. For some reason, I either wasn't paying attention. I don't even know what. But this was the building blocks to what Hounds of Love would be. This is out there. It's experimental, but it's gorgeous. It's one of the best albums in my collection, and I could easily, and taking out the Beatles and a couple of other artists, this is definitely in my top 50 all-time records. It's majestic. It's interesting. There are layers of overdubs and sounds and vocal patterns that are wonderful. Yeah, David Gilmour is in here a little bit, who's been on several of her albums. He's David Gilmour from Pink Floyd is the guitar player and gentleman who really introduced her to EMI and got her signed, got her record contract when she was very young. And of course, it was all, exploded several years later when she finally put out her first album. Going back to that, she wanted to put out Wuthering Heights at the first single. The record company really didn't want that. She fought and and she was right. The artistic side, ballsy woman, and I admire her for that. But there's so much on this album. All the Love is a gorgeous piece. Houdini, with this kiss. She's got the key in her mouth, passing it on to Harry Houdini as he does one of his stunts. Suspended in Gaffa, pull of the pin, there goes a tenor, sat in your lap. It's very British and very artsy. This is art rock at its finest, in my opinion. And this is the number 1 record. And I have one other edition. These were remastered about 4 years ago by James Guthrie, who remastered the reissues of Pink Floyd catalog, and they're fabulous. So I suggest highly the remastered Kate Bush records. If you want to go all in, you can get all the various 4-volume box sets. I know they go up and down in prices. I'm sure they're all available. But Hounds of Love and this album are must-haves in my opinion. And you know, you've heard the rest of the collection. As great as that whole story is, as great as hits, I think it's more interesting in terms of Kate Bush to dive in on her albums. But maybe get these last couple albums and then go for the hits for some of the others. Your call on that. But I absolutely love this woman. I love her artwork. I love her perseverance, and an amazing artist. One of the most amazing women artists of, you know, the last 50 years, definitely. Needs to be in the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Although, you know, who cares, right? But check out Kate Bush. Put your comments in, your favorite Kate Bush albums, and thanks for watching. I genuinely appreciate your views and your comments. Mazzy loves you.